Come here, Brandy. Come here, Brandy. Well, aren't you just moving right in?
What's up, dudes? Been a little while since the last time we did a vlog type of thing, and supposedly you guys liked it the previous time, so I'll show you kind of what's going on in the new place so far. We're almost completely moved in. If you can check it out, we already have a bunch of stuff hanging up everywhere. Our DuckTales and Mega Man toys, as per the usual. But there's still a lot of work to be done here, and that was one of the stipulations of the place, is that it needed a lot of work. As you can tell, I barely look like I slept at all, and it's because I've had a very few nights of sleep over the past few days because we've been doing so much. Here is the room. Now, you can see what we're trying to go for here, and it's essentially like a giant multimedia room. Because we've had so many people subscribing and a lot of people supporting the channel, I've been able to go in and get some of the things that I've really wanted to do as far as like multimedia, and really making live streaming and video production in general a lot easier. Kind of bringing like the level of kind of like professionalism up, and doing my best with that. And here's the first couple of examples. Over here we have the game rack. The freaking game rack of pretty much everything we need. We're going to put the Xbox One over here. And the idea is that we're going to take this game rack and we're going to take this device over here, which is a four-way HDMI splitter. This is not a switcher. So this splitter takes 4 different outputs and has only one input. So essentially what it means is that I can take that one HDMI signal, which comes from like all this stuff over here, and go directly into capture devices. How do we do that, you might ask? Because all these old games have like analog signals, they have composite, they have things like that. Is with this device. Let me show you how this stuff works. This device is a all-in-one output. So as you can see at the top, it has component, then we have composite, VGA, which I actually use for Dreamcast, as well as 3 HDMI ports, and I just switch between them on the fly over here. And then the output is literally this, one HDMI output that outputs at 1080p. Now this doesn't work with everything capture, and stuff that I need to capture sometimes doesn't work, like AverMedia cards don't for some reason accept like old signals like 480p and 480i. So the stuff that really works really good with that is the Elgato Game Capture HD, and that's the one that I've used pretty much primarily since I got it, and they have even helped us out recently with stuff. And if you guys want to try one and you're looking into getting into game capture kind of any kind, it comes with the resources and the stuff that you need to get started. So that's pretty good, and that's what we're primarily using to do like HD footage from Xbox One, or even old stuff for the most part. And it's a lot easier than having to switch between cards and stuff like that. But the crazy thing is that because we have all these game systems, they all go into that device over there, and from that device outputs one HDMI signal. And then that one HDMI goes into this little guy right here, the one input, and each one of these outputs are going to go to different things. One output's going to go to our classic RCA TV, which is a really old HD TV, my first HD TV I've ever had. And that one's going to take the old signals. That one does composite pretty well. The Asus is the primary gaming monitor, which is the Evo Asus that everyone knows. This is one that's been on the scene for a long time, and this is the one I prefer to play the majority of my fighting games on because it's got the lowest display rate. And finally, inside the main rig computer, we have 2 different graphics cards. I'm sorry, 2 different capture cards. And the main one being the Elgato for games, and one that I also use separately to capture the footage of the screen. And the big problem with live streaming is that when you live stream, you take up the resources of your computer. Like, it takes up a lot of CPU, and it takes up kind of like a lot of what you need to run PC games really good, like on ultra settings and stuff like that. So that was kind of bugging me, and I wanted to really do some cool PC game stuff, but I really couldn't. So I kind of have to build a second streaming computer, and that's what this stuff is over here. A computer that's going to be dedicated just to streaming with an i7 processor, and all the parts for this SOB are over here, and I got to get this thing put together. As you can see in here, we have an i7 processor, and we have pretty much the motherboard to go with it. And it's not that beefy of a rig. Like, that rig can't run mini games too well, so it's mostly just going to be for streaming, like just for the purposes of streaming and making it look really good. Because the problem is that with live streaming, you don't need like a ton of components. It's mostly CPU power, and that's that. Other than that, for audio, we have the mixer that's over here, right above everything. That's going to take care of most of our audio. I have the classic Rode mic. This is a Rode shotgun microphone that's on the stand right now, and this one is going to support video games every time we're just sitting and playing games in the room. And whenever I actually do personal commentary, I have a much better quality microphone that I think is for broadcasting, and it's this guy over here. I think this is a Sorensen, Sorensen Z something. This one, I've been dealing with this old, a friend actually gave this to me, my friend Jeff, a long time ago, this old microphone stand, and it's just not working anymore. So the best thing I'm thinking of doing is that once we have things going in here, I'm going to hook a microphone stand to this desk on the side so we can actually have an arm and it goes out anywhere and I can easily provide really good audio commentary. And that's kind of the bigger thing that I like with XSplit, is that when you're broadcasting in something like XSplit, it has a silence detection in the software. And that actually detects, like, when things reach a certain audio level, it just mutes the whole thing. And that's good because you get white noise, you get stuff that you don't want picked up on the mic a lot of the time, and it just interrupts the overall quality of sound in the video. And through all this stuff, you guys can probably tell, I am a sound whore and I am a visual whore. Like, things got to look really good and things got to sound really good, and it also has to be convenient. And hopefully, with this entire game setup over here, everything going into this thing, the HDMI input splitter, taking all the video signals and going to everything I might need it to, things might get a bit easier. But for now, it's a lot of setup. It's a giant broadcasting station from hell. But the nice thing is that it's much bigger in this specific office, so that I can actually have guests over, like Gutex will potentially come over again, and we can do Gutex and Max vs. the World and Third Strike, and even other guests to come in and play games like this, because it's actually possible now. Alright dudes, so we're back, me and Matt here once again. Say hi, Matt.
Hi guys.
Hi guys, we just spent the past 2 hours pretty much hooking up everything to get the initial capture station set up. And the point behind the capture station is that we can capture the same signal coming from this guy that is able to show us exactly what game we're capturing at what time. And because of that little magical device, we can get the same signal on a multitude of screens and TVs. The PlayStation 3 is on right now, so there's the PS3, there's the PS3, and there's the PS3. And this is coming from the computer capture station, so we're actually running the same signal multiple places. And the point behind this is that if we want to play, you know, older games, we run it on this guy. If we want to play newer games, we run it on this guy. And to capture, it's on this guy. And it also will go into multiple capture devices. And now we're on Xbox 360, and it's freaking everywhere. The whole point is that we can capture whatever we want, like anything, and it can go into multiple capture devices, record it multiple times, and we can pretty much stream any game easily and fluently. That's the best thing. Switch over to the Xbox One. Xbox One, and then Spinal and Fulgor are just beating the hell out of each other. Pretty cool, right?
I think if we do more, we'll get
Dreamcast du Des. Tell aloud. It's because it's coming through the computer speakers right now. So it's a thing, man. I can't say how happy I am. Like, in very little time, this entire battle station will be fully operational, and we're gonna fuck shit up. Either way, guys, thank you very much for tuning in, and once again, as soon as I get an update on tech stuff, I will let you dudes know, and hopefully if you want to do something in the future, you possibly can. Peace, dudes.